Hello, dear viewers. We are happy to welcome you back on ALLATRA TV Middle East. And tonight, traditionally, we have our live broadcast, 6 Degrees of Connections. So, I would like to remind to those who are joining us for the first time that we are broadcasting daily. And this project makes part of the global international project, which was launched by the participants and volunteers of ALLATRA International Public Movement. And this global international project is called Creative Society. And within this project, we are asking all people in the world, by means of TV interviews and social surveys, about the society everyone is happy in, about a creative and constructive society. How do people envision such a society where we feel secure, where we feel free, where we feel happy? So, to launch these social surveys, we started daily broadcasts on ALLATRA TV regional and international channels all over the world. And nowadays, you can take part and participate in an interview in almost every country of this world. So, dear viewers, feel free to comment on our videos and ask your questions. The most interesting questions we will ask our amazing guests from Morocco today. And if you want to repost this video, please don't forget to use hashtags, hashtag allatraunites and hashtag creativesociety. And I'm very happy to introduce you my co-host today, Kate. Hi, Kate, how are you?
Hello, Alina. I'm fine, thank you. And hello, everyone. Yeah. Yes, so I just wanted to add that throughout this project, Creative Society, we're also testing a theory of 6 handshakes, which basically means that, according to this theory, all people in the world know each other throughout 6 social connections, or even less currently, thanks to the modern technology. And I am very glad to say that today we can see this theory in action because our 3 lovely guests, we got acquainted with them through the guests that we had previously in our live conversation, Professor Abdurrahim Anbi. So please welcome our guests. So first of all, it's Farah Lazaar. She's from Asalah, Morocco, but currently she stays in Agadir. Hello, Farah.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi. And also, please welcome Yassine. Yassine is from Agadir. Hello, Yassine.
How are you?
Thank you, I'm fine. And also please welcome Siham. She's also from Agadir, Morocco.
Hello.
Hi. So yes, our guests are all students in sociology. So today's conversation will be very interesting. And as you might have guessed, they all are from Morocco. So guys, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And I'm giving the floor back to Alina.
Yeah, thank you so much. And guys, before we start, we would like to show the pictures which you kindly shared with us. These are beautiful pictures of nature and culture of your country. And I would like to ask you to comment on them, to share with our viewers what we see on the screen now. Who can start? Farah, can you start, please?
I can't see it.
You cannot see
the picture. Yeah, sorry.
So these are beautiful, beautiful buildings, white buildings, I guess on the Mediterranean beaches, on the seaside, and also very beautiful national dress. And this is nature and sea. Very old building,
yeah, this
maybe castle.
Yeah. The earlier picture was my city. This is Asila too. Yeah, this is me as a bride.
Ah, very beautiful. In traditional dress.
This is Moroccan kaftan, which is worn in to celebrate weddings or special anniversaries or something. It's a Moroccan traditional outfit. It's known in the Maghreb region, but especially in Morocco. And this is Asila too. Yeah.
Very beautiful, actually.
It's
Very
called the
colorful.
City of Culture because it has beautiful aesthetic painting all over the walls.
Yeah, I should admit your country is extremely beautiful, and I hope one day I can travel there. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's a beautiful introduction. And the topic of today's conversation is Creative Society is a society of happy people. Guys, could you please tell us what happiness means to you?
Do I speak?
Yeah, yes, Farah.
For me, happiness is kind of a side effect. It's not a thing in itself. It's something comes upon you. It's like the act of grace or something. So for me, the most effective means of pursuing a good life, which is not the same as pursuing happiness for some, but for me, happiness is actually a good life. Is for me is to adopt something like a stance of maximal responsibility towards the sufferance and the malevolence in the world. And I think that should be pursued primarily as an individual responsibility. It's not like I think that the familiar larger organization of society are not necessary, but I think in the final that the proper beginning of moral behavior, which is the proper beginning of the right way to act in the world, and is to take responsibility and to act, even if it take the shape of certain movements of anything. Happiness was we were talking about happiness since 2,300 years. And since Aristotle wrote his book, Nicomachean Ethics, and where he said that happiness is the highest goal of individual life. And for me, happiness equals a good life, a good social life.
Thank you so much, Farah. Thank you. Yassine, can you share your vision of what happiness means to you?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good,
So
good,
happiness
thank
is
you.
one of the, I think from my opinion is that related to the human emotions, and happiness is one of the main basis of to complete humanity and to achieve our good life. That's my point of view.
Thank you. Siham.
Well, to what concerns my thinking, I think that happiness is the feeling that we get when we feel comfortable, when we feel at ease with the people that we love, or when we feel comfortable with the circumstances or with our environments. But I believe that in order to feel such emotion and such feeling, we have to experience sadness. Because when we experience sadness, we appreciate happiness, and we know what's good about this feeling, you know. So I think that in order to feel happy, we have to feel sad sometimes, because when we feel always, it's impossible to feel always happy. And when we feel happy all the time, it's getting boring. You know, we have to face challenges. We have to face bad situations in order to appreciate the moment of happiness.
Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your understanding.
Yes, thank you very much for your understandings, for sharing them with us. And coming back to the topic of our today's conversation about the creative society. So, could you please let us know, how do you envision a society where each person is happy, where you, your loved ones, your friends, and every person in the world feels happy and feels comfortable? How would this kind of society look like? So we can start from Farah.
For me, it's kind of utopia. It's kind of like very hard to achieve, since we see that capitalism brought a lot of bad values. Like we see that egoism and individualism like is controlling nowadays societies. So in order to implant these values of love and of sharing, it takes a lot of change, like structural change in the systems. We speak about political change, education-wise, and so on.
And for example, we already passed through through the steps of changing, and we already achieved a creative society. So could you please let us know, like in your vision, what it would be like?
First of all, it will be a borderless universe, and it will be like no ethnic conflict. There will be no racism. There will be no shaming, no bullying. That's what an ideal or a like creative society for me. There will be no negativity, always positivity, and people helping each other, and governments that were created to help each other, not to be corrupted and dishonest.
Thank you very much. And what about you, Yassine? What do you think? How would a creative society look like?
Firstly, creative society is related to the evolution of the knowledge. In addition, creative society, from a narrow definition, is related to the development of the mind. But for the general definition, is related to the development of the societies from some stages. For example, you can see some of the creative societies in Asia, for example, China, Japan, and South Korea. To achieve a creative society in our world, we must focus firstly on education. We must try to achieve some strategies to make the students creative, to try to accomplish some of the projects, to achieve some of the, to make something which means, like, for example, we must focus firstly on the mind, not just only giving them some lessons. We must just focus to make them some space to open their minds to something more. Second, the limit, which is that the economy. The state must focus, the state in the world must focus firstly in the economy, because it is one of the main bases of the society, or by the way, the nations. Thirdly, we can say that the libraries, which must include all the categories of the books, because that is so important for the people in the society, to make them choosing what the categories want to read, for example. That's my opinion for creative society and how we can achieve a creative society in our world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Yassine. And yes, for sure, like people should have a possibility to study whatever they are interested in and have free access, to pure knowledge. And what about you, Siham? What do you think? How would a creative society look like?
Well, a society cannot stand without individuals, without people in it. So I think the bottom line, we should start from educating individuals, changing their if they have like bad thinking about things, since we are living in a globalizing world, so everything now, people are tending to buy trends, to buy like brands, people are more focusing on financial things rather than emotional, what is really makes them comfortable in their lives. And they end up by feeling empty inside. They end up by feeling, oh, what's I have everything but I have nothing inside. I don't feel I'm happy, I don't feel I'm comfortable. So I think that we should start from individuals. It's like said by Farah and Yassine, education is an important thing. We have to educate people not to focusing on what's like appearances. We have to focus on what we truly feel. And in order to create or to achieve a creative society, a lot of things have to change and have to be omitted from the social system. It is I cannot say that it is impossible. It's possible, but it should be not one voice. It should be many voices, and many firm voices, many true voices, not the voices that say, "Oh, I'm gonna change," but like I'm not gonna change inside. So we have to truly admit it.
Thank you very
That's what I
much.
think.
That's so much true also that it's a responsibility of every human being. It's not that we should sit and wait until someone will bring us already created creative society. So it depends on every human being, his and her responsibility, and we should do it together. And since you already touched the topic of education, I would like to ask you a wider question about educational system. How do you envision educational system and healthcare system in a creative society?
Well, I think that first of all, speaking about education, that education is controlled by government's view to the people. So we either get a good education or we get a bad one. If we got the bad one, then I think that government sometimes like they have to hide or to keep people like ignorance or just late, so they don't know much about things, so they don't think and they don't write and they don't act right. So for me, education is more dependent on the government, on the people we vote for. It's not dependent on people, because those people are like they lead the change. So for me, it's not upon me or upon society, it's upon who we vote for and who's the leader. And health-wise, for me, as we said, a creative society is a happy society. Sometimes even when we have healthcare, like in UK, we can say that that's Denmark or Norway, they're always the first, like in the list of happiest countries in the world, even though like UK have healthcare. It means that the GPA or the health doesn't mean a happy society. Why? Because people in UK, they don't know, they suffer from let's say mental illness or something, and their government doesn't take step to change that. But in Norway and in North European countries, we see that the governments are taking action of treating those issues to make the citizens happy. So for me, a happy society is kind of a society we can hand. We can help, even not like not only physically but also mentally, because if you go to the doctor and he will say like, you're all right, your blood pressure is fine, you can go back home, and that's not the measure of being happy. It's also about being mentally happy.
Does it mean also that the first and the main value of a creative society is a human being and his life?
Yeah, he should be treated as human beings. And we said like there is not only the physical side, there is like the emotional side and the mental background and stuff.
Like we should consider human being as whole.
Yeah, as a whole, not as he's good in his health, but we don't know what he's feeling and what he's thinking and how to orient him and help him out.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you so much. Yassine?
From my point of view, I think that the states must focus more and deeply on the arts and of course, the minds with the people societies, for example, as far as we can see that, for example, Norway and Finland have a high level in the education, which make the children, or by the way, the students are opening to what is creativity. That's what I think from my point of view. I think that states, as what I said before, must focus on the deep philosophy and the art to make the minds of the people opening to the other societies, to make them feeling the peace and the freedom, and make their minds more creative.
Thank you. We didn't hear well at the beginning, but at the end we could hear well, right? Or yeah, girls. Okay. Thank you so much, Yassine. Siham?
Well, concerning education, there are a lot of oppressions in societies. Like there are some people that I know and some people that I don't, but they exist. That maybe they have other orientations, but they cannot like pursue studies in this of the same orientation that they want. So they choose other orientations, and they end up by feeling like, what am I doing here? It's not what I wanted to be in life. It's not what I wanted to study, but I have to because I couldn't apply for the school because it's very expensive, or because it's so I think the problem of education is that there are many good schools, many good universities that are expensive, that people with great minds, with great abilities cannot study there because they don't have enough money. Concerning healthcare, I think it's there are a lot of countries, a lot of societies that suffer from lack of instruments, lack of medical equipments. So we have to take into consideration this thing, because society is people, and without taking care of people, we don't have a creative society. Because in order to be creative, in order to achieve a good and a happy society, we have to start from the health. Individuals have to enjoy such a good health in order to think correctly and to think creatively. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Could we say that education should be affordable for every human being, and
yes, that's the least right.
Yeah. Every human being should have access to good and equal quality of education worldwide.
Of course, but when we think about it, if we open every school, if we open all the universities, going to be like crowded. So it has its negative parts and its positive parts,
So we should think all together how to make it affordable for everyone.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that if specialists in this kind of field gather together and brainstorm how we can create it, how we can implement it in a creative society, I don't think that there will be any troubles, you know, or
Trouble, yeah.
obstacles on the way, because there are so many really smart and bright people in the world that have really good ideas that can be implemented. And also, I wanted to add that, you know, probably healthcare and education should be available everywhere, like all around the world, for any person, you know, in Africa, China, Indonesia, United States, whatever. So a person should feel comfortable everywhere, probably, right? Do you
Yes, of
agree?
course.
Yes. And also, I wanted to ask you another question. So, what do you think about like social assistance or maybe work conditions? How would they look like in a creative society? So, a person, you know, could fully show his best qualities, best potential, and could grow as individual. So, what kind of work conditions and social assistance should be there in a creative society?
I think that nowadays we work to live, literally. People work more than 10 hours a day, and they only have enough money to pay rent, to pay their basic life, or to buy clothes or something else. I think in creative society, there will be less working hours, because now we see that like people who work in companies are kind of enslaved. Like they work because they have no other options. If they don't work, they starve, and they will get no kind of help. So in creative society, there will be, as I said earlier, no corruption, and no one is going to be used, and wages going to be fine, and there will be social justice and equality. And that's my view on how work should be in a creative society. It should be less stressful, and also I think that people like artists and creative people, or smart people, don't get like to work in their domain, because they're obliged to work in any work so they can feed their families, or themselves. So they live in constant stress, and they're not achieving or fulfilling their dreams.
Yeah, so probably in creative society, there will be no such thing that, for example, you wanted to be an astronomer, but you have to work as a janitor or as a salesman because you have to make money. So you can
It's
probably fulfill your dreams and your highest potential.
it's not if you want, it's like if you can make it, if you have, if you have the potential to do it. It's not like everybody wants to be a superstar, as instance, but not everybody can be a superstar. Like in creative society, we will see if you can be one, if you're going to be useful to your society and to your country or your states.
Thank you.
That's great, actually. And also, we come back again to the same. If for the society the main value is a human being, then as a whole, the society will think how to provide the equal conditions of life, of work, of salary to everyone, so that the person feels comfortable. And if someone wants to work more, or wants to become an entrepreneur, and wants to take more responsibilities, of course it's great, it's very good, but at least people shouldn't live to survive, shouldn't really struggle for a piece of bread. And thank you for these understandings.
Yes, and what about you, Yassine? What do you think? What kind of work conditions should there be in social assistance, maybe?
From my point of view, I think that the creative society is the only solution to achieve equality and justice between the workers, because creative society is the key to improve the economy, improve the states. For example, we can say that the national states in East Asia are more developed in the world due to its creative society, due to this word of creative society, because they applied it, and they opened space to the people in the society. That's what I think. I think that creative society is the only key to achieve justice and improvement in society.
Yes, thank you
That's
very
my point
much.
of view.
Thank you, Yassine. And Siham, what about you?
Well, I I affirm that corruption must be omitted, that the work conditions or like we should not feel in work conditions that we are inferior, and that he is a teacher, he's better than me, and I am cleaning the street and I'm not. Like such inequalities, every job is a good one. Not every job, because there are jobs that exploit people, but I'm talking about jobs that are that are good and that may create or achieve a living for people. Inequalities must be omitted too. I'm like you. Maybe if I'm cleaning the street in my mind, you don't know what's going on in my mind. I may be smarter than you, but life didn't give me the chance to make it obvious. There are a lot of things that should be done in order to really create a happy society and a happier society, because I think we feel happy in our society, but we don't feel like much happy. With all that's going on in the world, there's always something that we feel and that makes us feel down. So in the creative society, we have to focus on work conditions too, because work is everything. Because without money, you will not get a living. You will not feed your children. You will not buy them what they want. Like that should be broadly discussed.
Yeah, so probably basic needs of each person should be covered.
Of
by
course,
social
yes.
care, for example.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. And we know that the creative society stands on 8 pillars. The first pillar is human life. The second pillar is human freedom. The third pillar is human safety. The fourth pillar is transparency and openness of information for all. Then the creative ideology, development of personality, justice and equality, and self-governing society. Guys, in your opinion, what is human freedom to you? It's a second pillar of the creative society pillars and foundations. What is human freedom? How do you see it? How do you understand it?
Farah, you have your microphone turned off.
Sorry. So I was saying that freedom is quite understandable. It's the rights of choosing what you want and what you can do and what to do and what to say. I don't think that there is any force is more superior than humans, of them expressing themselves and expressing what to do and what to say, with limits, of course.
Thank you. And Siham?
As long as you don't, hurt someone, or you're trying to bully someone else, of course. Those are the limits I'm speaking about.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Yassine joined us already because there was some technical difficulties. Yassine, maybe you can answer the question that Alina asked, like, what in your opinion a human freedom is?
From my point of view, I think that human freedom refers to a social concept that refers to the dignity of individuals between the people. In addition, it refers also to the liberty. That's my point of view.
Thank you.
It's a social concept. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yassine. Siham?
Well, freedom has a lot of sections, a lot of routes. I think the least rights or the least freedoms that we have to enjoy is the freedom of choice, educational choice, freedom of speech, freedom of feeling. When I say freedom of feelings, that sometimes people don't like interfere in your feelings. Don't feel like that. Don't show your feelings. Hide them. The society or the people that are living in society, they should not see you like showing your feelings, that you are feeling like that. So I guess the list of rights that we have to enjoy is such freedoms: freedom to speak, freedom to feel, and freedom to think, as long as we are respecting the law and respecting the society we are in.
Thank you, guys. And as you are future sociologists, can you please tell us what is your opinion? How should the creative ideology look like?
Creative ideology, like, well, it differs from a society to another, because we can see differences from city to city, village to village. So how come we can create one ideal ideology? First of all, we have to create one identity to create one ideology, because nobody's the same. There is different kind of identities, and it differ, as I said earlier. So I think the perfect ideology that have no propaganda, that has no backgrounds, that has no ethnic conflicts background, no racial contents, no sexual contents. I think creating like a common ideology is one of the hardest things in like the making of creative societies, because it's hard to find one ideology. You can find that someone who's a leftist, one is kind of liberal, one is democratic, progressive people. You really cannot control people because they think it's a matter of your orientation or the tide you're following. It's not. It's kind of believing in human basics. Like for me, it's kind of easy. Just human beings make it like complex. For me, it's like it's easy to be a human being and to respect others and live carefree. And even if you have opinion, you have to understand there is people in society that don't agree and they don't want to agree. It depends on them. So an ideal ideology is quite difficult because we have to play, as we said, on knowledge side. We have to learn, like 3 years old, 4 years old, how to respect other, how to not steal, how to not be corrupted, how to be like this, how to not bash someone or debunk people who are opinionated. They don't have the same opinion as you. So it's a matter of education and a matter of it's, as I said, it's a huge social change in the structure. We need a huge change. I'm optimistic actually about the future, because I think we still have time to do that. It just like we need to reach more people, to reach an ideal ideology as we're seeking as humankind.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you. Yassine, what would be your creative ideology of a creative society?
From my point of view, I think that creativity is a new ideology that will compose all the ethnicities and the religions. The base of the creative ideology is the democracy, the peace between all the people in the world. The creativity also based on the mentality, which is away from all the religious laws. That's what I think from my point of view. I think that the creative ideology is important for us in the world. That's what I think.
Thank you. Siham, what would be your creative ideology of a creative society?
Well, my creative ideology would be free from racism. Like colored people are like white people. There is no difference. If we go back to the theorists or to the thinkers, the scholars of previous decades, we see that there are also colored people that changed the way of thinking of many persons. That there are people who invented the things that right now we are still studying about them, we are still like discussing them, we are still mentioning them in our researches, in our scientific articles. So that proves that there is no difference between a colored person and a white one. And it should be free from corruption, from inequalities. Like as Farah has said, we cannot control the way of thinking of people, because you are different than me. We are here in this conversation, but we think differently, but at the same time we respect each other's view. So that's what's going to ideology is just going to be it should be based on like basic things, but at the same time things that are encouraging respect others' opinions. Do not let our like bad sides interfere. No, you are handicapped. No, you are a colored person. No, you are different. No, there are a lot of people that are smarter than us, and we don't even recognize it until we discuss with them topics and we found out that we were wrong about them. So a creative ideology should be creative in its way, creative in its methodology, and creative in its individuals' thinking. We should not let the history interferes, because with the decades going and people are getting freed from past things that were based on ethnic differences, on colonization, on many bad things. So in our current world, things are getting better, and racism is getting decreased a little bit. So let's hope for the best. So that's my creative ideology of creative people.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also, you just mentioned the fact that we are like in different places. We think about different things, like we have different things in our mind. And we currently had a question from one of our viewers that he's asking to you guys, what do you think unites all people in the world, regardless of nationality, religion, social status, skin color? What do we all have in common?
In my humble opinion, for most, of course, it's the ability to think and then to act, and act righteous in a righteous way. This is like a simple, short answer, but it's for me is the ability to think, and we are all humans, so that's all. So thinking, like I said thinking because that's what differs us from animals and from other creatures. So it's the ability to think, and it's sad to see people like to say like we have the ability to think, but we don't think properly. We don't act in like in a righteous way.
So probably to be able to use this tool, thinking properly in our everyday life, right?
To do the right things, because sorry to interrupt you, but because you actually live in the society, you live on this planet, and you live with those people, so you have to take care of them as if you're taking care of yourself, because you have no other options. We're obliged.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Farah. And what about you, Yassine? What do you think unites all people in the world internally, regardless of nationality, religion, and other things that kind of divide us?
From my point of view, think that thinking is more important than previous laws. For example, from 1 year ago, I read a novel of the portrait of an artist as a young man, which is written by James Joyce. This novel shows how main personality in the novel, how he suffered before from the religious laws and how he found his soul from the art. So thinking is an important key to find why we are in the life. So we must focus firstly on the tool to achieve a world of peace between all the people in the planet. That's what I think.
Thank you very much. And what about you, Siham? What do you think?
Well, I think that we think. I think that all human beings think, have their brain, have their mind, so they think properly, they think differently, but they do think. And this idea, like we share the same planet, as we share the same air. Like I cannot deprive you from the air you're breathing, and you cannot do so. That's from this idea. I believe that we are the same. We it's true that we think differently, but we have this ability to think. We have this ability to learn. We have this ability to recognize what's going on. We have this ability to see not with our eyes only, but with our minds and with our hearts. So the human being is a very powerful being on the planet, and this idea should not, we should not think wrongly about it. We should think positively about it. We should achieve a creative society by this thinking, and not just involving into wars and creating like bad things in the world. We should benefit from this ability that we have positively and not negatively.
Thank you very much. And also, I think probably one of the main things that unites all of us is like the fact that we are humans, the fact that we have our values, right? That can be written in different languages, but they still talk about the same, right?
Of course.
And also, I have another question. Today's conversation was very, very interesting, and we really would love to hear all the answers and your opinions that you shared with us. And I have another question. So how important is it to inform people nowadays about the project Creative Society, and what would be the best ways to do that?
Since we are living in an information society, we're no longer living in an industrial society or in manufacturing society. I think it's easy through platforms to engage people with you, like through I don't know, creating avenues, talking to people, like using YouTube channel is a great idea. Using Instagram, using Facebook, we go to where people actually gather, and we use that. Since we're speaking about the creative society, means knowledge society, and by knowledge society we mean information, and people needs information. That's why they seek like websites, and they go to social media, social platform like Facebook, Twitter, whatsoever. So I think being active on this platform will gather people and introduce them to these projects or to this amazing idea, which is like quite neutral, and we need something neutral nowadays.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you so much. Good advice.
Yeah.
Siham, what would you say? What would you recommend?
Social media has its print on this globalizing world. It's a good way to louder the voice of achieving a creative society, and I think that creative society, it's all about education. Now people are watching videos, funny videos. Oh, he fell. Oh, but they don't realize that there are people who are suffering, people who seeks to make their societies better. So it's not just we have to use social media. We have to use it properly. We have to use it correctly. We have to use it in a way that's going to make us better. That's going to make us better in our way of thinking, our attitudes. Not just laughing about someone who's suffering or something. I think the best way to louder the voice of a creative society is through social media, is through people who have their print in the world, like they work in advertising, or they work in they are respected by many people. They are famous. If they discuss such thing, because they are of course they must be models for many people. So if they speak, a lot of people and a lot of things are going to change. So social media is like an important way to really achieve a great society and a better one.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if Yassine is with us right now.
No, I don't think so.
He's having some technical difficulties at the moment. Okay. So thank you very much, ladies. It was very interesting to find out what would be the most effective ways to inform people.
Thank you. It was an amazing conversation. It was great to have you with us tonight. And the very last question, we would like to ask you: would you love to live in a creative society?
Definitely, yeah. Of course, I want that. Who doesn't want that? I think all the youth agree that they want to live in a creative society where they can find proper job, where they can think properly, where they can practice what they want. So, of course, yeah, I would like to live in a creative society.
Thank you. And what about you, Siham?
Well, no one would like to live in oppressions, circumstances, and situations. No one is going to like to live in bad things, bad experiences. So I think that creative society, if it really realizes what we say and what others say, it's going to be really like some.
I can't hear Siham. Can you hear her?
No.
Work hard.
It's not.
Oh, now we can hear Siham.
Okay. You're back.
Really? Okay, so I think that creative society is a brilliant idea. It's all that someone would want, all that someone would seek for in means of jobs, in means of future, in means of education, in means of healthcare, because it's endeavors to achieve platforms, to achieve a good structure, such a basic one, and a good one, in which people are going to enjoy many rights, many basic rights, many simple rights that they are going to feel really happy about them.
Thank you so much, Siham. Yeah, Yassine, can you please share with us if you would love to live in a creative society? Your mic is on. Off, sorry.
Can you hear us, Yassine?
Can you hear us?
No, yes.
Yeah. My question was, would you love to live in a creative society?
Of course, yeah. To see another new society, another new nation, and another new world.
Thank you so much, guys.
Our government must give more freedom to the people. Must give more freedom to the people to think more. That's what I guess, and it's my point of view. To achieve a creative society, the government must give more space for thinking.
Sorry, Yassine, I think I heard you with some delay and I interrupted you.
Today's technical difficulties are in the way a little bit.
Good, guys. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And we would like to show that everyone can join the project Creative Society through the webpage allatraunites. And it's actually very easy. You just type allatraunites.com. You press the red button, join. You choose a language you speak. You you choose how you would like to participate and leave your contact so that volunteers of International Public Movement ALLATRA could join you, could contact you. And I hope that altogether we will be more and more people who will spread this idea and who will spread this news to the world that creative society is possible and we can create it and we can build it all together. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. And thank you to our viewers. And also, I wanted to add that if any one of you and your friends wants to join our live conversations, it is also very easy. You can just simply send us an email, send us your request to the email that you see in the description underneath the video. It is uae@allatraunites.com. And also, you can participate in our live conversations on Allatra Radio as well, if, for example, you don't have the possibility to connect with video. So you can also send your ideas of Creative Society to info@allatraunites.com. And also, please share our broadcasts in your social networks with your friends using the two hashtags, hashtag Creative Society and hashtag Allatra Unites. And leave your comments below and also join our 6 Handshakes initiative because, come on, as the more people find out about the Creative Society, yes, the more possibility we will have to create it as soon as possible. So thank you very much to our dear guests and thank you to our viewers. Thank you, Alina, and we'll see you next time on Allatra TV Middle East.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Farah, Yassine, Siham, for being with us tonight, for bringing a piece of Moroccan spirit to our broadcast. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Most welcome.
You're welcome.